10 of the creepiest things superheroes have done. At number 10, Killer Batman. For the first 2 years of Batman's solo adventures in Detective Comics, he not only brandished a gun to fight off humans and the occasional vampire, but he killed villains in a variety of ways, often giving a dark quip after they died. One of these memorable occasions was Batman's very first appearance, in which he punched a criminal into a vat of acid, claiming it was a fitting end for his kind. Batman spent those first 2 years snapping necks with his bat feet and throwing villains from tall buildings, but the comics creators later wisely opted for the do not kill policy because it allowed Batman to keep his memorable villains around. He once trapped the unfortunately named KG-Beast in a sewer, leaving him to starve to death, saying, "I'm not in this business to protect the rules. I serve justice." At number 9, Superman the Porn Star. In Action Comics number 593, Superman and superheroine Big Barda are mind-controlled by a character appropriately named Sleaze. The best thing that this weird villain can think of to do with 2 of the most powerful characters in the universe is force them to create a pornographic film. While the comics code kept us from explicitly seeing what the characters did on their presumably super sturdy porn bed, the issue does feature Darkseid handing the videotape to Big Barda's husband, and readers can see his horrified reaction. It probably mirrors readers' own reaction after they have read this truly bizarre story. At number 8, Ant-Man's sexual habits. The topic of superhero sex lives often brings about chuckles from comic fans. However, when it comes to Ant-Man, Marvel decided to show instead of tell, and the result cannot be unseen. One issue of Avengers features a series of panels in which a voice yells, "Hank, please, no more." We eventually see that it is the Avenger superhero the Wasp. Not visible, however, is her lover Ant-Man, who possesses the ability to shrink to any size. He then emerges, in shrunken form, from the under the sheets and between her breasts, telling her, "All right, Jan, your turn." The mind boggles. Marvel officially confirmed that Ant-Man shrinks himself into a living sex toy to please Wasp, and we can only wonder how she, using her own shrinking powers, will return the favor to Ant-Man.
Give your meat a good old rub. Yeah, boy.
At number 7, Punisher becomes an angel. Over the years, it seemed certain that the psychotic anti-hero who gets in daily gun battles would die. This finally happened to the Punisher, but death didn't keep him down. Instead, he was retooled as a literal avenging angel, sent by heaven to destroy demons on Earth. This was insane to Bible and Punisher readers alike. When comics scribe Garth Ennis started writing for the character, he simply made the angels throw the man back to Earth, which is full of violent sinners, as punishment for not doing their bidding properly. At number 6, Green Lantern becomes a mass murderer. The power rings of the Green Lanterns have always posed a bit of a paradox for readers. On one hand, they are supposed to be the most powerful weapons in the universe. On the other, they are powered by individual will, which can be lost or perverted. The latter happened to Green Lantern Supreme Hal Jordan, causing him to become a mass murderer before he was stopped. One of the weirder side effects of DC's Death of Superman storyline was the destruction of Green Lantern's Coast City. The heroes failed to save the day, and over 7 million souls are lost, comprising almost everyone that Hal Jordan knows. He goes crazy trying to get enough power to rebuild his city and its people. During the course of this, he kills several other Green Lanterns and most of the Guardians who safeguard the universe. Though he eventually redeems himself by saving the world, Hal Jordan seems proof that most heroes really are just one bad day away from becoming supervillains. At number 5, Ant-Man tries to kill Wasp. In the regular Marvel Comics universe, Hank Pym physically abused his wife, the Wasp, while suffering from a mental breakdown. The edgier world of the Ultimates Marvel Universe took this to the next level, and the end result was a bit horrifying. Instead of the Red Butler-esque backhanded slap that Ant-Man gives Wasp in the main comics universe, the Ultimates universe features a full-on physical brawl between the characters, weapons and all. Eventually, Wasp shrinks down to escape her husband, but he finds where she is hiding and hits her with some Raid insect spray. He laughs that it must feel like napalm on her skin. When she refuses to come out of hiding, he puts on his ant-controlling helmet and sends a legion of ants to kill her. Perhaps the scariest part of all of this is just how soon they get back together afterward.
Stop it. Get some help.
At number 4. Zatanna lobotomizes countless villains. Villains constantly are figuring identities out, but hero magician Zatanna, along with Hawkman, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and the Flash, regularly uses her powers to wipe their memories. In the story, Green Arrow points out how often villains have found heroes' secrets, such as by swapping bodies or walking through their dreams, sure that the villains will tell the world who the heroes really are. So, Zatanna gives the villains' minds a little tingle and makes them forget. Things go further when they confront Dr. Light. Light has not figured out any identities, but he has broken into JLA headquarters and brutally raped Sue Dibney, the elongated man's wife. When caught, he vows to move on to all of the other heroes' wives next, and to tell the world about raping Sue. Instead of a memory wipe, they go to another level and alter his whole brain, which explains how he goes from an A-list JLA villain to getting beaten up by the Teen Titans. At number 3. Kitty Pryde phases during orgasm. For longtime readers of the X-Men who remember Kitty Pryde joining the team at the age of 13, just the idea of her having sex may be unsettling. Thanks to Avengers mastermind Joss Whedon, we have an answer to this burning question. During his run of Astonishing X-Men, he resurrected Colossus and brought back fan-favorite Kitty Pryde. These two rekindle their romantic relationship in a memorable scene of the normally shy Kitty Pryde seducing Colossus. While this is entertaining on its own, the climax of the humor comes during a scene in which a naked Kitty phases through the floor yelling, "Oh my God!" the entire time. Even the most prudish reader realizes that Colossus is very adept at making Kitty lose her concentration. At number 2. Blob eats Wasp. The writers of Ultimatum, the story designed to put an end to that universe, took it to horrific extremes. The book was filled with wanton violence and murder, and scenes such as Magneto snapping Professor X's neck were par for the course. Arguably the grossest of these scenes involve the Blob and the Wasp. Giant Man finds that the Blob is in the middle of eating her, even exclaiming, "Tastes like chicken." If this wasn't gross enough, Giant Man retaliates by turning into a giant and biting the Blob's head off. Turning two of Marvel's longest-running characters into cannibals was clearly just another twist on top of the violence and death that had ceased to shock. At number 1. Preachers Meet Statue Sex. Printed as part of DC's explicit adults-only Vertigo line, Preacher was designed to be shocking. Nearly every page is filled with gore, nudity, perversion, foul language, and often some combination of the four. It takes something really special, then, to stand out as the most shocking part of such a comic. But that moment comes in A Giant Woman Made of Meat. In the comic, hero Jesse Custer is taking a break from finding God and forcing him to admit his sins to the world by serving as sheriff of a small town. That town is run by Odin Quincannon, a ruthless pervert and Ku Klux Klan member. Readers often see panels of him moaning sexually explicit lines from a darkened room before emerging, covered in blood. Fans could only speculate about what was in the room until Odin, fatally wounded from a fight with Jesse, crawls back inside. Readers see Odin, pants down, frantically clutching the breasts of a giant woman that he made out of meat.
What? What the?
The reader is left wondering exactly what response Odin received earlier, telling the meat woman to work the shaft and say the name.